Hi, everybody. We are in our 5th hour of KSPHQ's Adventures in Fundraising, and we do mean adventures. We want to thank everybody for their patience during some of our minor audio issues, so we thought we would have fun this time with our video instead. We're streaming for nearly 24 hours today and tomorrow to bring awareness to National Suicide Prevention Month. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. This month is to bring awareness to suicide prevention, mental health, and to educate the public about the warning signs of suicide and what you can do to help prevent this in your community. More than half of crisis callers already have a plan for suicide, and 8% have already taken steps by the time they call KSPHQ or the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. However, 56% of suicidal callers reported no longer feeling suicidal after their contact with a crisis counselor. That is my favorite statistic. That just goes to show you exactly the impact we all have here at KSPHQ and the impact that you can have for this organization. You can be the reason that those callers have hope again and that their lives are saved. You can donate to KSPHQ in multiple ways. You can go on Facebook, where there's a big blue donate button on the right-hand side of our page. You can go to our website, kSPHQ.org, and click on the donate button. You can text KSPHQ to 44321, or you can call us today before 7 o'clock at 785-841-9900. And we have a couple more creative ways for you to donate. If you have a car or a piece of art or some other in-kind donation that you would like to give, you can, for more information on donating real property such as vehicles, stocks, or other stuff that you've got, please go to our website and contact us through kSPHQ.org. We want to give a really huge shout out to everybody who has already donated through our fundraiser and everybody who has started fundraisers of their own or donated before this 24-hour telethon even started. We could not do what we do here without you. This hour, I'm going to introduce Erica, who's going to give us a really awesome video about the culture of KSPHQ and what it means to be a volunteer here. Take it away, Erica.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Smith, and I'm the Senior Coordinator for our Core Chat program at Kansas Suicide Prevention HQ. When I first came to headquarters, it was to be a volunteer, and that was in the spring of 2014. Shout out to Spring 14. I initially came to HQ. I was in the social work program, and I had actually always wanted, since I was a teenager, to be on a suicide hotline because I have my own personal experience and a relationship with suicide and mental health struggles. So I'm an attempt survivor. I attempted suicide twice when I was younger, and I'm glad to be alive today because it brought me here. And so that's sort of what prompted me to come here, but that's not why I stayed. I've stayed at headquarters, since 2014. I've been everything from a volunteer to an intern to a trainer to now a staff member, and it's really the community that keeps me here. I just love it so much. At HQ, the culture in the community is the number one most important thing and most special thing about us. Our spirit is unmatched to any other space or organization or just environment I've ever been in. The first thing that I realized at headquarters was that, wow, like people really accept me for who I am, and I don't have to pretend to not be sensitive. I get to be a sensitive ball of anxiety, and I get to be sleepy, and I get to be all the things that I was ashamed of, and people love me for those things as opposed to judging me for them. So, it is a life-saving environment, not just for the people who access our services, but also for the people who are providing the services, because we get to connect in a way that I've never witnessed or experienced in any other space. So yeah, and it's just so diverse, it's not just one kind of person answering these phones. We all have our own lived experiences. We all have our own backgrounds, and we all have just our own interests too. And so I've just learned so much based on what other people are interested in talking about, and that's been really cool. One thing that's really neat about headquarters is that when people come to be a volunteer, they get trained with like 100 hours of training, and that includes a lot of different skills and a lot of different like observations and role plays and all of these things. And the point of that is to answer the phones and to answer chat, is to provide the services of suicide intervention and crisis intervention, right? But what happens when people leave headquarters, because they do, because people's lives take them across the country, across the state, across the world, I mean, really, and they leave with these skills of really being able to listen and really being able to understand and validate somebody's feelings. And so to have a conversation with an HQer is very different than having a conversation with somebody who's not an HQer. And I think it's really cool, because then we get to go and we have this impact, right? We get to take what HQ gave us, and you don't lose it. So you just take it with you, and you get to validate and normalize and listen in all spaces outside of HQ. Headquarters has been the place where I have gotten to make my lifelong friendships, whether that is from my training group, which is the legendary Spring 14, which I know every single person who's listening to this has obviously heard of, because everyone in the world knows about Spring 14. I'm just kidding. We just like to talk ourselves up. But, the group that I went through training with, we didn't know each other at all. But we bonded and became like totally obsessed and are just in love with each other. Even still to this day, we have group chats and different ways to connect on social media, and we talk to each other every single day. And those are the people that I lean on at any time for any reason. And maybe the coolest part of this whole thing is that my now husband, we just got married in August, and I met in HQ's call room as we were both volunteers, and we became friends, and then we started dating, and now we're married. So HQ just has given me so much in terms of community. It's impacted my personal life in ways that I literally don't know who I would be, or if I would be here alive without them. One thing that people don't know about Kansas Suicide Prevention HQ is that we serve the entire state of Kansas, and we're the only people who do that when it comes to suicide prevention and intervention. So by making a donation to headquarters, what you're doing is you are protecting Kansans from feeling alone, from feeling desperate, from feeling incredibly hopeless, because by donating to headquarters, you are keeping our lights on, our bills paid. You're sponsoring volunteers to go through those 100 hours of training for free. You're doing all of these things that contribute to our day-to-day operations that literally keep people alive. So if there is any organization that you want to donate your money to, my vote is for HQ. For anyone who is struggling with anxiety or depression or the pandemic or literally anything, you don't have to be suicidal to call HQ or to reach out for support. We talk to people who are having a bad day, who are going through a breakup, who are experiencing whatever it is, just walking through this pandemic. And we also talk to people who want to end their lives. So just know that we're available 24/7. We are all empathetic, humans who just want to listen and want to be there. And so if you're struggling, don't hesitate to reach out. Also, if you know someone who's struggling and you feel concerned about them, you're welcome to call us and ask questions. We will support you and that person however we can. If you have lost someone to suicide and are struggling with that kind of grief, we're also a resource for you. So just know that we talk to people with all sorts of stories. And if I would have known about headquarters when I was suicidal, then I think that I would have probably not attempted suicide, which I know is a big statement to make, but that's just my truth. I wish I would have known about HQ when I needed it.
By donating to KSPHQ, you can ensure that there will always be a trained, compassionate volunteer counselor on the other end of the phone when someone in crisis calls for help. You can help create the kind of culture and community that Erica was just talking about. You can give hope to those who need it most. Be sure to join me next hour where we talk more about influential stories, wonderful impact, and how you can support this amazing organization. See you at 6 o'clock.